So hi guys, today we are back with a very important and a very simple topic, which is the row context versus the filter context. There's one thing which used to always frustrate me, okay, when I started with Power BI, and that thing is that when I used to have a formula written in a calculated column, it used to work. And if I use the same formula in a measure, it used to not work at all. Now I was just starting with Power BI and it used to blow my mind that why it is not working. The same thing works over here, why doesn't it work in a measure? And later on, when I started digging deeper into it, I understood that Power BI actually works on something much more at a deeper level. And to understand this issue, we have to understand what is the row context and the filter context. So I have a very simple data today. I have not taken my AdventureWorks data because I want to just do it very simply. It's a concept, so I need some kind of a simple data. I don't want to make it more complicated. That's why I've used this. Now, if you look over here, I have the quantity and the price with the product. Okay, so this is the product and everything. Over here, I'm going to make a column which is called as the amount column, which the amount column will be quantity into price, obviously, which is the calculated column. Okay, so let's use new column, of course new calculated column, give it the name as in amount, sales, price into sales quantity. That is the amount, quantity into price. And let's commit this. Okay, so we have the amount over here. Now this works, okay, because calculated columns are evaluated row by row. So this is one row, 2 into 50,000, then second row, then third row, like that. So it works row by row. Each row knows that its quantity and what is the quantity and what is the price, and this is called actually the row context. Okay, so just simply you can say that calculated columns will always have a row context because they are evaluated row by row. Simple. Okay, and calculated column, this is very important. So calculated columns are actually calculated only once when the data is refreshed. When you get this data at that time only. Now I have calculated this now, and this is going to remain like that until and unless I do a data refresh. Till the time I don't do the refresh, this is not going to change. Now I will show you something very interesting. Now let's try this same calculation with a measure. Okay, now I am creating a new measure and I am going to let me give this maybe total amount or total sales, something, can give anything. Okay, so this total sales, let me put the exact same formula over here, that is the sales. Now interestingly, what will happen is it will not even show me the column, because what I am doing is actually conceptually wrong, but I will still write it for you all to understand. Okay, sales quantity into sales price. So this is the same formula that I used as a calculated column, but what is the issue that I am getting over here? It is throwing me a error. It is actually not showing me these columns at all when I use it as a measure. So this is a concept problem. It's actually not a syntax problem. Entire concept in itself is wrong. Measures inbuilt won't work row by row. Measures work based on filter context. Okay, so that's why it is showing me wrong. When Power BI is actually evaluating a measure, it doesn't look at one row. Okay, it looks at many rows at the same time. So Power BI will ask that, okay, how much quantity should I multiply, or what is the price that I should use? Because there is no single row. It is not looking at this one row like a column. Okay, it is looking at this entire thing that you are giving it. Okay, that's why this calculation is entirely wrong. It is not even taking it. So measures will not be able to multiply columns because it doesn't know which row to use. So it is getting confused. Okay, what? Now I'll show you one more interesting part. what people will do, or generally when you're starting or new with Power BI, you will try to rectify this by using something called as sum, because you will think, okay, it is not working row by row, let me use an aggregation to it. Okay, and this will be the first step. Use sum and then see if it is working or not, but still it is giving you an error. And what is the error? That sum actually parameter, the error is actually parameter is not of the correct type, but the actual error, the meaning is that this fails because the sum can only aggregate a single column. So if I remove price from here and only keep this column, then it is fine, this is correct. So sum will actually take only one parameter, that is the column, as single column as the parameter over here, and sum will not create row context in measure. And to solve this, actually you need something which is called as the SUMX. Okay, see, while teaching you all row and filter context, I'm actually going into sum and SUMX also. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is what I'm using over here, which is the SUMX. Now let me show you exactly what SUMX actually says. Okay, so see, it returns the sum of an expression evaluated for each row of the table. So this is what we need for a measure to actually work row by row. Okay. Now let me complete this first. Okay, so SUMX actually requires a table, so we know the name of our table, which is the sales, and then it is telling us to give the expression which we want. And what is our expression? Our expression is the multiplication of quantity and price to get the total amount. So now I will give the quantity, and now it is giving me sales quantity into price. Okay, close this, and now it's done. Okay, so we have got now the total sales. So SUMX over here is actually doing three things. First, it takes the sales table, then second, it creates the row context, and then evaluates this expression row by row. So it is telling that in the table sales, you have to evaluate this expression row by row and then give the answer to total sales. Okay, so interestingly, SUMX creates row context inside a measure. Using SUMX, I am creating a row context inside the measure. So till now we have understood this, and for the filter context, I will just show you very simple, something very simple. Okay, so for you all to understand, let me take a pull up a card. Okay, a card visual. I have already taken a slicer over here of the product to show you all, and this is a card, and let me put the sales, total sales over here. So total sales are something around 139k. Okay, now when I put this measure in a card and apply filters, the total will change. Okay, so maybe this is the filter that I have taken over here. You can put the filters even here also. Okay, let me show you over here also very quickly. Okay, so the product has come over here, it is over here also, both are fine. You can, it's basic filtering. So if I select headphones, this is total is changing to 10k. If I remove this, select laptop, this total is changing to 100k. Now that's because measures are recalculated. Every time the filter context is changing, every time I'm changing this filter, it is recalculating my measure. Okay, and measures are dynamic and they change as your filter changes. So this is exactly what it means, that the filter context is changing. Okay, if I say a very clean comparison between the two, row context actually decides how a value is calculated. Okay, and filter context decide which rows will be included. Okay, if you don't understand this, maybe you write it down somewhere. I will write this statement over here. It's a very cool thing to actually see what's happening and what's not. And this concept is actually super easy, but nobody will tell you this or explain you this at such a basic level. Okay, you have to find it out yourself, and that is what my videos are all about, to teach very simple things which you get by trial and error, to be accessible to those people who are learning, and they can understand much better. So if I give a last final summary of what all we did over here. So first of all, calculated columns work row by row, and measures work on filter contexts, and they recalculate dynamically. And iterator functions like SUMX that I used over here, yes, SUMX, will connect the two actually. Okay, so if your measure needs a row by row logic, you must use some iterator function with x, sum x, max x, min x, something like that. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have understood row and filter context and you like the way I explain things, please give a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will bring such simple things to you day to day. Thank you. Bye bye and happy learning.